Gonna be... if this is not a 3-game series, I am gonna be shocked. We have some cool heroes again, Cinderin. We get the off-lane Undying for WS. Of course, Makoto, we've seen a ton of Storm, but Makoto Storm in particular has been insane this tournament. We have Kiritich playing the position 1 Bristleback, and then save on Rubik. I don't think we've cast a single game on Rubik thus far.
Yeah, I wonder what they were seeing with this Rubik pick, if there's some inherently very powerful value in stealing. Maybe it's just the Tombstone, maybe it's... I mean, Shaman's Kit is obviously great, but we're at a point now with Rubik where I think this hero just isn't good enough unless the steals have high quality. But perhaps, you know, it's a new patch, other supports got nerfed, maybe he can come back and shine again, and BetBoom are just a little bit ahead of the curve. But this hero hasn't been an impressive laner for quite a while, and it seems in, you know, current Dota that your position 4 in lane needs to either be able to pull waves or be oppressive, and Rubik is kind of neither. But let's see how it goes. So he's going to be playing against what I would say is a clearly unfavorable matchup in the Nature's Prophet 5. I think this hero is just a monster laner, and he's going to be laning together with a Drow against Beast. That should be a pretty easy lane for them. And also on the other side lane, Talon with a core Undying into Bristle. We saw Kiritich pop off on this carry Bristle, but might have his work cut out for him here, as an Undying 3 should be a really rough lane.
Yeah, cannot wait to see the itemization coming out from WS. This hero as a core is so fun to cast. The mid lane, it's going to be the Spirit Brothers. GPK playing the Ember, and Makoto, like we talked about, on the Storm Spirit. Should be pretty even affair, unless somebody just really jumps out of the pack here.
Yeah, usually that lane kind of is just a bit of a wash, I guess. The thing that's interesting about the Emperor Storm matchup is how it progresses throughout the game, where depending on Storm's itemization and how the game is going overall, you have some games where Storm just really overtakes Ember in the mid game when you start snowballing and you get an Orchid, for example, but you also have games where Ember is one of the more reliable catches against Storm. Long range, slight chains, some sort of follow through on it, which perhaps is a little bit of a concern here for BetBoom. Like, what do you really have to combo with the chains? You have a Roar, I guess. That's kind of it. There's no, like, big artillery that's going to help Ember find those kills.
Yep, they do have the save for Kataomi onto likely Kiritich. He's going to be up close and personal. Miero went for the Wild Hunt facet, so already indicating that this will be the Helm build, which has been the more popular anyway.
Yeah, I just think it's the stronger one as well. The Axe nerf is definitely noticeable. Kuka will TP to a water and get tips by GPK immediately.
Yep, okay. Good. 23 Savage on the Drow Ranger. So Drow, we've seen him pop off before for 23 against a Bristle with the Aghanim Scepter, which I'm assuming he's going to prioritize at some point of the game. Pretty damn powerful. Yeah. And against the Oracle as well. Hypothermia is extremely good.
I think this is a really good Drow game. And that's the good news for Talon here is we've seen from them when they get to the later portions of the mid game as well as late game, they're very comfortable with playing slower games, but they don't necessarily go for it all the time. We also have had them crush into some shorter games. But against BetBoom, I think that's the less likely outcome, that Talon just run over them in lanes and just snowball the game really hard. Knowing how BetBoom drafts and plays, that is probably going to be one of the tougher parts of the game for the side of Talon. But with that said, I just think they've done a very good job this game of giving themselves good matchups in both side lanes to avoid it getting out of control. So far so good for them. And for BetBoom also, this is going according to plan. I don't think BetBoom are expecting to really destroy any of their lanes. They just want to make sure they get their stuff online, and every core in the game, more or less, is pretty happy for now.
I hope this gets to late game, because when you have a Drought that's hitting ridiculously hard, you have heroes that can get to the back line. The Beastmaster with the Blink, Ember Spirit obviously very mobile, Bristle not too afraid of being up close and personal. But then Drow itemizes for that, right? I mean, you don't have to itemize for Gus, but Gus is pretty damn good against the Ember Spirit, so you have to itemize against the Gus. Then you have Glacier, and then on top, I want to see the Tombstone grab ally on the Glacier. That's going to be hard to kill.
Just hide her completely away. Speaking of Tombstone, they're going to start diving Kiritich. Immediate TP back here from Kataomi. Should stop this aggression in its tracks.
Yep.
They might snack up a
have
little
to try to deny it. It will not be. So, gold the way of Kataomi, I believe.
I think Kiritich actually got it, which is even better on the Bristle. So, yeah, so far so good in this bottom lane for the side of BetBoom. I thought perhaps the earlier levels would be tougher for the Bristle than they have been, considering decay spam, considering Shaman's high base damage. But Kiritich is definitely holding his own. And I'm so happy to see Oracle back. I love this hero. It's really cool that it's becoming popular again. Let's just hope it doesn't get too good, so we only get to enjoy it for 2 weeks. Shout out to all my Pudge enjoyers out there that had a great 2 weeks as well. A couple years ago, that was a good time.
They don't want it to be OP for pubs because it's the most picked hero. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like it's okay though if it is a bit OP. Who cares? Cuckoo.
Pubs kind of self-regulate.
Yeah, I would think so.
The hero's OP, it gets banned every game. Both teams pick it, it gets banned. There you go.
Very true. Joken, we mentioned playing the Shadow Shaman. We've talked about this before, of course. I mean, his Shadow Shaman is good. It's just it's not on the same level as the Tusk prototype. So, I mean, could they have worked a Tusk Undying lane? I mean, that does sound kind of fearsome.
I don't remember if Tusk was in the pool at that point.
Yeah, it could have been gone, I suppose.
23.
Savage. I think he's going to die here. Pops the Fairy Fire. First blood for save, so BetBoom on the board.
Yeah, this is one of the really valuable things about...
Meanwhile, battle for the 6-minute rune. The zip from Makoto to try to focus everything on this Ember Spirit with the shackle as well, but GPK takes out Cuckoo. Remnants away.
He wants more.
Absolutely. Jokum will be next on the list, so a 3rd kill in the game for BetBoom.
GPK with a double.
And who ended up getting the rune?
Cuckoo.
Regen for Cuckoo.
Yeah, and then he died.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Great start for GPK in particular now. Those 2 kills are big. And I was just going to say, talking about Rubik's weaknesses in the laning stage, this is why the pairing with Beastmaster is good, because Beastmaster is a monster in lane. When heroes get displaced into you, into the Hawk and the Boar, a lot of heroes just can't fight back, and Drow is one of them. And it begs the question, did 23 Savage make a mistake this game by not skilling Gust on level 4? This is the way Drow wants to build, is the 202, because in every offensive situation, it's really nice to have the extra value point in both abilities, but had he had Gust there, I think he definitely would have lived. So perhaps you got to sacrifice a little bit in the offensive aspect to cover yourself, and I would be pretty surprised now to not see him skill Gust level 5. Just thinking about it. And he'll skill multi-shot.
Greed.
I do find this a bit greedy. It's obviously going to be good when he goes to jungle in every farm situation. It's just, yeah, if he dies another time to not having Gust, I have to say there's no way that's worth it to get this extra point, but suffer the casualties.
Roll Summoner up in the Hizzy. Cinderin inside the Sprout. Already at half HP. Samira with the Helm. He's going to have those rally skellies.
I really like the change they made to Helm of the Dominator with the bigger health bar and the bigger model. Like, it's just...
Yeah, it's nice.
It stands out, and I think it's more fitting for how good the item is. So, it's one of those little quality of life changes that when you see it, you're like, why did we not have this for 10 years? It's just so obvious, but you never really thought about it.
Just like seeing enemy mana bars. What a quality of life.
Not at all the same thing. Niero will keep his little skelly friend, well, not alive, because he blocked himself with Rally.
He got the skeletons out. That's the most important thing.
I think it's more important to keep it alive.
Get those skellies out of there quick.
Yeah. Time to find yourself a little Wild Wing Ripper. Now his Hurricane. That's another displacement ability against the Drow.
Yep, true.
See if they can make a play with it. Miero obviously level 6. He's running a Clarity, so he does have mana for his kit here. If he were to find a dive onto 23, but good coverage is available. Cuckoo is in position, and Mikoto playing at mid-range in the camp in the jungle would be able to help as well. But here comes the play.
Here it comes. He has damage rune on GPK. They're going to run into Cuckoo. They'll take him easily as TP support's coming in. Undying is here. Save's going to be the trade for now. Kiritich In the midst of this tombstone, as WS pops his ult to try to force the Bristle back out, the decays continuing to come on this Bristle, making him way less tanky. He will fall as a result, so great rotation from Talon. Still a 3 for 3 as the fight continues. GPK still has that damage rune, as Makoto will eventually take out the creep, a TP attempt, and that's going to be successful for Miero, and it looks like the fight stops here.
Miero never got the roar off. That was a long fight. I think he was fighting the Shaman, and Shaman had level 3 shackles, so he was just locked down for a very long time. Miero doesn't want to roar him after that because he's already killing him. We'll see the replay here and then try to look at the Beastmaster's fight, because it feels like this should not be possible, that the roar just doesn't go off. 23 Savage gets run down by GPK's amp damage rune here. And then you can see to the south, the Beastmaster just busy fighting the Shaman. He's winning the fight, and now roar is still available. At any point here, you could roar the Undying. I think it's close. You probably don't kill him, but GPK with the damage rune, like maybe? Either way.
Yeah, that is a little
very
weird.
Close fight, but a big spell unused for BetBoom in that instance.
Jokum will steal away a rune. It'll cost him his life. Yeah. That was another instance where 23 with a gust on the Ember would have made a huge difference, actually. Potentially.
You know, it's one of the things I like harping on in this tournament is get your value points out there while they matter. We've seen it from Lina's not skilling Light Strike Array in some cases. We've seen Drow's not skill Gust. I don't know. It's like this 4th point in multi-shot. It is good. Obviously, you're scaling a little bit faster, but if it costs you 2 deaths, who knows? I do know carry players do love their money. And Gust don't make no money.
Well, it theoretically would.
No, it just saves money.
That's true. They don't like to invest. They just blow it all. GPK pressuring the tier 1 mid right now. There's rotations coming, though, from Talon. This is with the Siege, although Miero, with his Tomato, will make their presence known.
Standard Beastmaster stuff. Dominator, take side lane. Dominator, take mid lane.
Makoto makes his way over. Searing Chains on 2, and Miero will get the last hit. So tower goes down, basically from 100 to 0.
It's perfect for them that the Siege creep is still alive minute 11:30. Makes that push so much easier. So job well done for BetBoom so far. Top 3 cores. Just now Makoto overtakes the Bristle again, but yeah. Not too shabby from BetBoom. And this is a lineup that can accelerate. I don't think by any means that Talon are too concerned just yet, as their lineup is more geared toward that mid-later portion for the most part. Undying will be coming online when he gets this Blade Mail. That'll make his fights significantly better. Drow is rushing the Hypothermia. You talked about it. That's, again, is this too little in the way of defense?
He's going to get gone on again. Searing Chains. Save is there with a Fade Bolt. He does get the Gust off, but he's going to get run down eventually.
Ironically, he has Gust in the one gank that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
So 23 now with a 3rd death to his name as Makoto grouped up with Jokum.
This is, of course, the first game of the day and earlier than yesterday, so maybe...
Their first games were way worse than this, so I don't know if that's...
Well, they were also earlier than this. It's like a gradient.
There's the zip. They're going to focus on the support. The save.
Easy pick.
GPK just too tanky. Went for Blade Mail, by the way, first item, so...
Yeah, interesting to see that on Ember here. It is good against Drow, without a doubt, and Storm. But has not been a popular build for quite a while. When you're snowballing, it feels great. Increases your farming speed. In fights, you're a lot more difficult to target for the Storm. In the Drow, if you get caught by a Gust, they can't necessarily commit on you. So, I don't mind it.
Gonna pop the Blade Mail here. And Makoto will zip away, and the steal was on the Static Remnant, so a little extra farm potential for save, but we know that he doesn't like to farm.
It's not the worst skill on Rubik, but also definitely not the best.
23 Savage. He gets roared up. The Tombstone is placed, but he ends up going down.
Is he gonna get out too?
As the TP again from Miero.
God.
That is a disaster for Talon.
There are 4 heroes here, and he just sniped the Drow and got out.
And 23, he was so close to living too. That was as close as it gets.
Dire's middle tower
I mean, that's
is under
Ripper's
attack.
Lash literally got that kill.
Dire are
Yeah, it's incredible.
Like that's the difference in that fight.
When these new neutral items came out, I thought this was going to be
Dire's bottom tower
brutally
is under
overpowered on some heroes, but it actually hasn't seemed that ridiculous. I thought heroes like Beastmaster, Brood
Yeah.
would just crush with this, but
Okay, Serpent Ward's placed, Miero.
yeah, Jokin won't
They'll
be
end
another
up farming it up eventually. It's going to take a while, of course.
It's kind of just giving them extra gold here.
Yeah.
I don't think there was much potential in these Serpent Wards. In the meantime, Save finds Cuckoo together with GPK in the mid lane. Things are starting to
Dire's
really
bottom tower is
kick
under
into gear now for BetBoom, accelerating the game. Of course, we're only 15 minutes in, so no big objectives to be taken just yet. I don't think Roshan is on the menu at 15. You're very good at taking Tormentor, though, at 20 with Beastmaster and Bristleback. Kiritich with the Ags could very easily do just that. And of course, Kiritich with Ags 2 does allow you to burst heroes during Roar. You now pose a real threat to the Storm. You pose a threat to the Core Undying. These heroes are absolutely killable. Even during Slight Chains, actually. Didn't talk about that, but GPK with the 4-1-4 build on Ember, I feel like that's pretty rare that we see that nowadays. I could just be a little bit outdated. Obviously, with Chain Gang, you can avoid having many points in Slight because you can use your Remnants to get off the chains with. But I still think even with Chain Gang, most of the Embers we've seen have gone priority Slight over the Flame Guard. High points in Flame Guard makes him very resistant to damage from the Storm and Shaman. They will actually just force the Rosh at 15.
Yep, it's a freebie.
Talked about the lineup's good at the Tormentor. I did not think they were planning on this early, but it's why not? It definitely is possible, and they're not. It doesn't cost them anything on the map. They had the waves pushed out nicely, so the side of Talon don't even get their first tower yet.
GPK, TPs, Jokum spotted. Puts down the wards again as Makoto making his way over. Do they actually want to fight this, though? It's a shield
can't
run
do
on GPK.
anything
He's
to
so
GPK.
tanky. The TP attempt. Searing Chains cancels. Another kill to the name of GPK. There's the initiation from Makoto onto GPK, but the Serpent Wards were stolen by Save, and that's going to force the rest of Talon back. They just have not been able to find a foothold on this game at all. And GPK not going to be able to pursue any further. I feel like this is just a symptom of the laning stage where it did feel like either mid or bottom for Talon had to go pretty well to be able to snowball just a bit to create the space for 23 Savage to get farm. But Makoto's lane was dead even, and bottom lane you thought was going to be a win for Talon ended up being more so in the favor of BetBoom, it feels like.
Dire's top
Yeah,
tower
I'm
is under attack.
really impressed with BetBoom's laning so far and just early play in this game. And this is what's a concern about Beastmaster as a hero, even after some of the nerfs. Is if you let him run over his lane, he's going to transform it into taking over the whole game, right? He took top tower, mid tower, bottom tower, and Rosh, and we're 15 minutes in, right? And all of that stems from the top death that accelerated Miero into this game. His top net worth in the game by over 1,000.
See GPK trying to backstab here. Cuckoo will be the recipient.
Yeah, he's screwed.
23 in the vicinity. He's not going to be able to do too much.
Tower is under attack.
6K lead for BetBoom. Tier 2 tower is theirs.
As Cuckoo eats the poo-poo.
Okay.
Here goes the tower.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Keep it going here, honestly. BetBoom, I don't see what's stopping them from going mid-tier 2 as well. Makoto is maybe eyeing up a chance here.
Radiant are scanning.
It's just really difficult for him to initiate. The 4 points in Flame Guard makes Ember an atrocious target. Beastmaster's very tanky. There's Oracle saving.
Yeah, and the supports feel like they're just bleeding out constantly. You're going to see that again here in the form of Jokum.
When
Getting
BetBoom are
worse
in
and worse.
formation, I genuinely think you can't fight. And what a nightmare that is for Core Undying. This hero's bread and butter is just early team fights.
Yeah.
Putting down a strong tombstone, defending
Now-
it, and taking fight, you just can't right now.
Now a blink from Miero on the way. That's going to catch potentially Makoto off guard. That's the one here that's been difficult for them to take out. Has 0 kills, 0 deaths. GPK on the other hand, 8-0.
Yep.
And again, just feeding off these supports constantly. Cuckoo, TP, actually might be successful here. It's going to be close, does get out.
Even with the Arcane Rune, GPK not enough in the tank there. Of course, the long cooldown on chains, or excuse me, on slight when you have that. Level 2 on that.
23, better be careful. There's the blink, there's the roar, there's the death. And
he didn't know about the dagger.
Nope, he did not. We talked about potentially on Makoto, but if 23 is just going to lay himself out there, why not? Serpent wards from BetBoom, so the push even faster.
Such a good steal for this lineup. You have Beastmaster to push the towers, and then you get the free Serpent wards in addition. Now, these do not get amplified by Arcane Supremacy. They have the same damage, I believe, as they do for the Shaman, so they're not a better version. It's one of the very few spells that Rubik steals that's not better.
That's true.
Than what the opponent has.
I mean, does it act kind of like a summon in that case?
Yeah, it's just like considered a summoned ward, right?
Yeah.
I guess he still has the better cast range on it, but that's generally kind of irrelevant on Serpent wards.
How much longer does he have it for?
He lost it.
Oh.
But talk about value. 19-minute barracks.
Oh, yeah.
It's
BetBoom in control.
It's Torment time.
Yeah, perfect timing as well. Right on the 20-minute mark. Shard will go the way of Kataomi, so you get the little rainbow rain.
Destiny!
And that's just going to expedite their push even more. Now, the Aegis is running out in 30, but when you're up this much with a bristleback, I don't see how Talon can get this kill.
I don't really think I don't think you're very concerned in general.
Yeah.
Any lift?
PK.
Yeah.
They have plenty of stuns for Cuckoo. Reign of Destiny plays just for fun, just to show them that they have very colorful fireworks that they can portray onto the screen.
And save
and the
with
final
the
tier 2
steal.
is standing here, but not for long. Oh, wow. That's an early Ags for WS, so Decay will be stealing a lot more strength now.
Yeah, you say an early Ags, but in reality right now it's kind of a last chance. Almost. 12k down minute 21. This Ags has to pay off. You need to find a good fight off of this.
Radiant are scanning.
BetBoom are not going to let up now. They're just going to keep going. Bot tower is theirs as well. And yeah, here we go. This feels like a fight that has to work now for Talon. They got Ags on Drow and Ags on Undying. But BetBoom are aware.
Damage empowers me.
Dire
They
are
will
scanning.
retreat. And if they keep good formation here...
Oh, Cuckoo TP's in, and he's just going to die right off the bat.
Well, he did scout them.
Sure. WS gets a big decay. Kataomi finds the distance, though. 23 Savage was being pursued by GPK. Big zip, but now the roar from Miero onto the Drow. That's going to be the death of 23 again. Serpent wards are placed. I'm not sure if Save will steal it this time. He actually takes decay instead, so swapping decays with WS. That's 3 dead for Talon. WS will at least find 1. But he will die shortly after, so 4 for 1, although the Undying with the Innate comes back to life instantly.
Conceptually, I actually really like this TP from Cuckoo. The problem is his teammates are a little bit too far away, and they're too far behind in the game. But if this were a closer game, porting in your Prophet like that to gain vision and just start the fight off can be a good thing if you get off one Sprout and you tank up some spells. But in that instance, he just turns into a complete free kill. And GPK got mad value out of his Blade Mail there. He got so much damage on the Drow with the Reflect.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, this one looks like it's basically in the bag now for BetBoom. A great game 1, really well executed. Just got to ride it home now. Avoid disaster.
Yeah, now that we look at the scoreline at this stage of the game, this is like, okay, that's the game 1 Talon. We've seen a lot this tournament. We thought they broke the curse or yesterday, Cinderin.
Yeah.
They played out of their minds, but now we'll have to... I mean, that's, again, if they go on to lose this game, they're used to being in this position at the very least, which is a good and a bad thing, I suppose.
Yeah, this game, there's just been some things in the lanes that did not go the way they should, right? Or the way you would want to. If this is the expected outcome of the lanes, then you're kind of just outpicked, right? So I think this, in particular, the top lane, the deaths on Drow are very costly. You've had a ton of deaths on Joachim as well, and you and I both agree. His Shaman is good, but it's not his best. When he plays these playmaking 4s that are melee and generally have mobility, like Tusk, Marcy, Slark, which was first phase banned wisely by BetBoom. He just seems like an extra difficult player to deal with. In this case, BetBoom have absolutely shut down his Shadow Shaman. 1-7-0 the scoreline for Jokum. Pretty uncharacteristic, even in losses. He generally does better than this. Good news for Flipster Talon is Mikoto hasn't died, so that's nice.
Yeah, but he also hasn't gotten a kill.
That's not so nice. Beastmaster AC. Oh my god. Look at Miero's net worth. Like, what is this? 16k minute 24.
Yeah, not bad.
He's ahead by over 2,000 against his Ember, who's 9-0-6. This is like, these are dirty numbers. Roche is now alive in the bottom pit.
Yeah, and this
should be the game ender.
It should.
It really should.
Which begs the question, Talon likely will, I assume, have to try to contest this.
Yeah, I think they do.
But it's gonna be a tough one.
What's the dream angle? I guess you try to, if you see Oracle, you jump Oracle with Storm plus Prophet, and then at the same time, Jokum has to try to protect 23 Savage from getting mauled. It's kind of the only hero that can save him.
Oh, Makoto.
Smoke break.
Nice
work.
Okay.
He has a ward, and save will immediately go for the D ward here. Assuming that if there's smoke breaks and they don't find anyone, there must have been vision. He'd be right in that assessment. Nice escape from Jokum, chooses to blink the right way.
Yep, BetBoom wasting their time a bit.
But now Roche is top.
It does feel like they can just go in there without getting a pick.
Yeah.
Pretty safely.
It definitely does.
There is no wombo combo potential. I mean, the main thing to keep in mind is the Mikoto jumping in, stealing Aegis shenanigans. So we can see that he is nowhere close, although the Roshan Belch does come out.
Now, of course, acoustics in the pit are quite good. As you have shown with your Belches, they do work better in more
closed spaces.
Closed spaces, such as the stairwell of the studio and
there's
the corridor.
A lot of great alleyways in Sweden as well, I have to say.
Yep.
Belch alleys, as we call them, of course. GPK, Shard incoming now. And with this Aegis on Kiritich, which, I mean, Ember definitely makes use of the Aegis better, but he's not the one hitting the buildings, so it does make sense here. Oh, 23.
That should be okay. It's not rocket science that probably someone is farming in the bottom half of the map here, but at the same time, BetBoom can't really get there quick enough to try to go for the punish after they take Roche.
Yeah, and bottom lane makes the most sense. It still has the outer tier 2. You don't want to have a situation where you can finish the game, except, oh wait, you can't because there's still a tier 2 up, so you have to go for throne.
Yeah.
This does feel like a game that they can pretty casually just go down this lane, get the tier 2, and then take a fight on the high ground.
And if you're Kataomi right now, you want to leverage your Blink Dagger. So you want to stand 2,000 range behind the fight. Look at where he's standing right now relative to his team, just way back. Because he knows that if anyone else gets jumped, he can just Blink, ult, Reign of Destiny them.
Jokum on the cliff. Oh, he gets hit by the axes. Uh-oh. Oh, dear.
Oh, that didn't work.
He's dead. 30 seconds.
Yes,
does that buy.
Yeah. It's not going to need it, though. The next wave is going to take about 20 seconds to get there. Yeah, you're just going to send in the Bristle to hit, right? He has the banner as well. Bristle plus Beastmaster's units. Step by step should get it.
23. He's spotted. The roar from Miero comes out. There's the save, though. The grab ally from WS. It's not going to matter, though. Drow pops right back out and dies instantly. That is unfortunate. Miero does go down, though, so Talon finding a really valuable kill. GPK stunned up, but there's the false promise, and now he can work on anything he wants in that Reign of Destiny. They get a long shackle on the Makoto. First death for him. And no buyback to come as WS. He is quite tanky. Buyback does come out from Jokum finally.
Oh,
shackle onto the Undying. Kiritich getting pretty low, but still has that Aegis. Just one-shots the Nature's Prophet. There's the Aegis. And GPK, he is running out of mana now. They cannot kill this Undying. The Ag's decay is pretty absurd in these long fights. The BetBoom without Aegis any longer. Kiritich, he's surrounded. He is a tanky boy, though. Shackle does come out as these quill sprays are starting to stack up quite a bit. Kiritich, though, left all alone, attempting to TP out, and he does get away.
That was not the worst hold.
Yeah, a successful hold. It cost 2 buybacks.
It was only supports buying back.
Yeah, that is a surprising one.
Pretty good for Talon, and that was in spite of Save stealing shackles and getting off 2 full duration shackles that fight. You still managed to hold. It's a really big difference now that Mikoto is in his own base for the mono region of just going back to Fountain and resetting, and he found a lot of impact in that fight, isolating and killing off Beastmaster, which seems to be the primary target for them. It's easier to kill than some of the other heroes, but still has massive damage output. However, you could argue maybe Kataomi should have gone for the save on Beast. I'm not sure he had to save it for GPK like he did there.
Yeah.
And just let Miero die first. Because I think that there's a case to be made that, let's say Ember is the better hero to save in general than Beast. But if you wait and save him when Beast gets jumped first, you're playing the fight 4vx deliberately, rather than saving the Beastmaster and then maybe Ember has to play it more cautiously, but at least you have all 5 heroes in the fight for way longer. I can't help but feel like that would have been better, but I'm not sure if Kataomi was being boxed out or countered by something that prevented him from getting there. And getting that save on Beast, but...
Oh, WS gets to the high ground in time. This is the one target that would be a bit difficult for BetBoom to take. GPK, not able to find the connection. WS still kind of isolated. He's already at half HP, and there's the quill spray from Kiritich.
Oh, he doesn't have Scepter.
Oh, no. He gets his innate, so Undying is actually back.
That's true. He still had that. He died forever.
Kiritich, though, finds the connection onto 23 Savage. Double kill for Kiritich as they find another on the back line. As Rubik stuck inside the Serpent Wards, but I feel like the Rasta is the one that's stuck here. And now WS with Makoto in a 2 versus 5. He gets lifted. He gets destroyed. Ultra kill for Kiritich as Makoto is going to be the Rampage. A huge fight for BetBoom, and that should do it for game number 1.
Yeah, they have a whole minute. Well, Makoto... Wait, what?
He bought something.
Did he just lose his buyback from...
Nope, it's back again.
Okay. Oh, he started buying his Sanj. He's like, wait, I probably have to defend here? No glyph for now. If he doesn't buy back, this should be a lane, right? 17 seconds? Maybe not. The glyph is actually really valuable here. The fact that Beastmaster is dead does slow down this push. Kiritich, he will still get 1 lane. Seeing red with Solar Crest. Big damn.
Yes, GPK will take the bottom tower as well. They're going to group up to take out the range racks, it seems. 23 Savage. Getting a little pokey poke. Yep, Storm up in 15. Kiritich, how comfortable do you feel without the Aegis? Gust is going to be dodged.
Oh,
there's the shackle.
Instant counter.
Yeah, good job from Jokum as they're going to turn this around to save and say they actually use False Promise on the support instead, but GPK going in deep. Miero with the roar as well. 23 Savage dead again. As Cuckoo going to get rooted up along with the Storm Spirit, forcing out the BKB from Makoto, but they're going to call it GG. They really lost 3. Make it 4. BetBoom take game 1 pretty comfortably. And 1 game away from meeting Paravision in the grand final.
These score lines on BetBoom's cores are
3. They have the Axe, which we have loved seeing. And then WS is going to be playing that. Jokum playing his melee support 4, which is Magnus this time. But on the other side, and the panel mentioned it, Miero Undying. That was the first off-lane Undying we saw in this tournament earlier, and he took over the game basically single-handedly.
Yeah, there's definitely some major things you want to avoid for both teams in this game. On the side of Talon, you want to prevent this Undying from taking over the game, as you mentioned, and really setting the tempo. And on the side of BetBoom, you want to avoid getting to late game. I actually think it's the simple version of this. If the game goes long enough, well, this could be a good start for them, but I do think WS will make it out alive here. Probably, maybe. No, they've Deluge again.
Yep, he's getting slowed to a crawl.
Dead.
First blood. Kataomi will likely grab it. Does he have the move speed?
Yes, Delusion 1.
Well, he might be more. Oh, he actually gets a little bit more HP, diving the tower as we have a pause. What the horse happens now? Damn. So
Isn't it always next?
yeah, that's true.
So. This was
screwed
your
that
show.
up.
He's definitely dead.
Yeah, he's dead. As Kataomi will trade his life for the betterment of BetBoom, who get the first blood. Goodness.
Now, the good news here is for Flipster Talon, Jokum got full experience. So he's actually going to be the first player likely in the bot lane to reach level 2.
That's pretty big, too. He skewers Kiritich away. Not going to get much of the XP in this way. Let's see how many creeps he actually misses here. Looks like it was 2.
So yesterday we saw WS and the Axe and he popped off, but they were playing it together with Marcy, which I think is a 10 times better lane than this one. The way that worked so well is that Marcy had the pick-me-up facet and was able to just effectively vault Axe into the enemy to call them, giving him a mini free dagger for the laning stage. In theory, Magnus can do the same with Skewer, but it's a lot harder to hit. And this should be a lane that on paper is just BetBoom favored. Lina plus melee support against 2 melee heroes, especially when the melee support she's with has any sort of control, such as the ensnare into Relin being a great example. I would expect this lane to go very well for the side of BetBoom. In mid, Mikoto Storm against Pango should be a good lane for the Storm. Not crushing it, but should be winning. And then up top, you have to favor the Undying against the Tiny. BSJ was talking about it. This is a game counter. It counters Tiny in the laning stage. It counters him in the mid game because Tiny can't destroy the Tombstone. And once Undying gets Flesh Golem, if he hits Tiny even once, you just stick on him the whole fight. So
yeah,
definitely some challenges here, but if Flipster Talon can avoid this game following the same trajectory as the last one, if it's just slower, I think they have a pretty good shot. LSA gonna miss. But once again, X Magnus, not exactly a very
I'll say save on the Rubik, as we're going to see more action here. LSA. Shockwave. Oh, the Berserker's call onto both heroes into a skewer as well. Jokum and WS trying to finish off Kataomi. Jokum getting pretty low. Oh, actually, they turn the other way. They want to get Kiritich instead, and actually Kataomi kills off Jokum instead. And if WS can get this, it'll be well worth it. The ensnare holds him in place, though, and both members of BetBoom get away.
Pretty sure if you were to open up some of the Overwatch cases, there'd be people reporting X for going this skill build, but it almost worked. The 1-1-0 build does not have a point counter helix. It was the only reason they could start the fight was that he skilled call on level 2.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But
oh, they're gonna they get the double skewer again from the trees.
Oh,
Kiritich
baby.
dies, Kataomi next, and Talon come back with a vengeance.
I love seeing axes skill differently. I think there's been so many games I've watched over the years where axes will default to 0-1-2 every time. And then yesterday we had WS skill 1-1-1, and this game effectively also doing that, albeit in different order with the call on level 2, has really enabled this lane to work. You're not really winning it by a ton down the stretch, but getting those kills there should be massive for WS. Now 1,900 net worth to the 1,600 of the Lina is very good news for
The
Talon.
reel in into the LSA, but WS has come to force BetBoom back.
Yeah, they have the second point in Deluge now. It's a very big upgrade for the Naga support. But this is, for me, this is already a better outcome than I would have expected going into this game for the offlane of Talon. So this should be very comfortable with this. Early ring of health for WS. Vanguard only 300 away. And they find another skewer down bot.
Yep, into the call as well, and a lot of creeps attacking WS as the counter helix obviously leveled at this point. That battle hunger really slows a lot. As the shockwave will miss, but I think later on in the game when you see a Rubik with Shard, that's going to be an interesting interaction against the Axe call. If he's able to get out of the call himself, that is, as a save. It's WS.
Yeah.
The outskirts here.
Yeah, they have to be careful down bottom now for the side of Talon. They're very low on resources. Ensnare plus Deluge might just be a kill with Lina's 2 spells.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Mid lane, Makoto with a slight advantage in terms of CS. Both members relatively low, though. Double shield crash for GPK.
Yeah. Interesting he chose that over Thunderbolt, right? We've been seeing mid Pangos do a little bit of both, but I feel like Thunderbolt has been the more popular mid Pango facet overall, whereas the double jump has been at fault in the off lane. Now bottom again, Kiritich.
Yep, Kiritich.
He has 13 sticks.
Should be able to walk away. Mid lane, though, Makoto looks to be dead, and it's to GPK's hands. Save coming in for the assistance. So first big kill in the mid lane.
This is an exceptionally good time to rotate. Storm was closing in on level 6, and he's going to lose a full wave in the tower, including the siege creep. So this is bonus experience. Down the drain for Makoto. And GPK getting himself a little bit of a lead there. Now he's hoping to find the 6-minute rune. Bottom is being covered by Joachim, and top is being covered by Cuckoo. So good job for Talon. And they themselves obviously should know where the rune is, courtesy of Oracle.
Yep.
So Joachim, I don't know if they forgot to tap where the rune is, or if they were trying to fake them out with Magnus covering bottom.
Ah, yeah.
But
True.
Effectively a little bit of waste of time.
All right,
otherwise.
LSA. Skewer from Joachim as the rotation from Save comes in. WS, he wants to get aggressive, but the Berserker's Call canceled at the last moment. Level 5 right now. Gets telekinesis.
Oh, didn't throw him back.
Doesn't throw him back at all. And should be able to walk away as a result.
Seems like a misplay.
I don't think they get that kill anyway, though.
Maybe they could connect an LSA, and even if they don't kill him, maybe they get him to like 10%, which does make a big difference for his ability to continue playing the lane.
Yeah, that's true.
Now that he's on half, he still has the confidence to go and grab the CS, but they are going to try him again.
Dire's middle tower.
Save.
Attack are scanning.
Good read from WS. He will back off. Joachim will take the Wisdom, and Miero will take the other one. So this will be a lot of experience for the offlane Undying of the BetBoom team. Almost level 6 now on Miero.
WS will get triple teamed. Already relatively low. The reel into the LSA. Joachim. Shockwave. And Kataomi, he's going to get skewered. He's the one to fall. So WS survives, and I mean, Cuckoo gets the last hit there, but
they just don't have enough damage into this Vanguard.
Yeah, Vanguard is pretty powerful. I mean, there's one on Miero as well on the other side.
Radiant's middle tower.
But this is what's so important about Axe in any patch, really, is if you don't get bullied out of the very first few waves and you get some good golden experience and you get the Vanguard, the hero transforms a lot. If you imagine the couple of early kills that he got one of the last hits on the kills and 1 assist, those 2 kills in the lane, if they hadn't happened and he wouldn't have this Vanguard, then he probably dies there too, and the game snowballs against you pretty fast, but now he's actually having a quite good game on the Axe. Ahead of the Lina is not something I thought I would say minute 8.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Miero's also farming quite well, though, and actually out-leveling WS for the time being. Not by a huge amount, though, but yeah, they're pretty neck and neck offlaners. Who would you say that benefits more?
I think it's better for on a hero-to-hero matchup. That's not really how I would think about it. In terms of game expectancy, definitely benefits Axe.
23 Savage, good TP.
Because this was a lane Miero was expected to do well in, whereas the Axe was maybe... I'm not saying he was expected to get crushed, but I don't think he was expected to do this well. So you consider that the 1k lead that Talon have now is mainly from the outperformance in the bot lane from
WS gets the Chipper's Vest, though, so that's now an advantage over Miero. Let's see what he gets in the jungle, Cinderin.
Yeah.
Neutral item talk, which we stopped doing with the big patch that came. That changed neutrals into, well, less interesting to talk about items. But the Chipper's Vest, very interesting.
Yep. Very good on Axe.
We'll be going for the phase boots into Blink, as per norm.
Yeah, then it'll be Blade Mail, and then probably BKB, I'm guessing, in this game. You want to make sure you can get all your stuff off against Pango, against Rubik. They will get killed off, and maybe more. Miero would be the bigger prize.
Yep, he doesn't have his ult right now. Gets off a double decay, but the Electric Vortex, GPK coming in with the double shield crash. Will use his ult. They've already lost their Undying, and now GPK won't be able to finish the job, so away he goes. And of course, Miero instant spawns as WS. He's left alone, takes a Laguna Blade, but they don't do any damage after the fact. Gets reeled back in, he gets whipped. A lot of aggressive things onto Axe, but he doesn't care. at all. Makoto snags the invis rune. We'll have to use it right off the bat. They put a sentry down, though. They're going to focus on Jokum instead because he's easier. They will get him as a result. This might be the first power rune that a non-support has gotten this game.
It's also the third power rune of the game.
That's right. 1 out of 3, Cinderin.
Yeah. We're both making correct statements. Maybe. I didn't fact check you. But I can fact check myself that 10 minutes is the third power rune.
Okay. Thank you.
I feel pretty confident about that one. But yeah, with our expectancy going into this game, I think fair to say this is a great early game from Talon overall. Like, this is a good result from the first 10 minutes. We were saying this is a game where BetBoom are looking to accelerate out of the laning stage and take good fights around their tombstone. But with the 2K lead now for Talon, just raw laning advantage, it's looking quite solid for them to be able to bridge the gap and buy the time necessary to get their lineup to the later portion of the game where it really peaks. We've seen these late game Magnus plays, the Storm plays, and 23 Savage, who was slated to have the hardest lane of everyone, is more or less tied with the lead.
That's a smoke reveal. Makoto. Well, actually, Jokum is the one that gets the kill. They're going to get Cat to Omi as well. So a nice gank here from Talon. Let's see if they can pressure the tier 1 after the fact as well.
WS almost has Blink now. 12 minutes in, face Blink Vanguard, not too shabby. Almost top net worth. The classic X Magnus lane. I'd love to see it.
Might be in some trouble now, though. Miero in that flesh golem. They're going to apply some pressure to him at the moment. They get the telekinesis as well. He has to use the call, but he is outnumbered right now, and they finally brought damage. So Miero gets the better of him in this exchange.
Radiant are scanning. Radiant's top tower.
How much gold did he lose in that? It didn't look like he lost much. He still has 1,800, so.
Yeah, he lost 150 for dying.
Okay.
The punishment this early on in terms of net worth loss is not that significant. More about what the opponent gains than what you lose most of the time.
You can pop into the jungle real quick, get that blink, and then go for a smoke play. As Makoto going to take a little stack here. And the shield crash from GPK will be applied to Cuckoo, who brushes off the Laguna, but the right clicks will be enough anyway.
Yeah, choosing to conserve the false promise, which is definitely the right call under the circumstances. There was no way he was getting out. The spell has a quite a bit longer cooldown than I believe it used 2 years ago. Now it's 110 seconds level 1. This used to be quite a bit lower back when Oracle was last seen as a very meta pick.
All right, blink coming.
Yeah.
Expect a smoke play right away.
Definitely the player to watch right now, WS on his X with this pickup. Once the Blade Mail comes out, he can solo kill Lina. One of Lina's more annoying off-lane matchups when Axe gets there. A lot of the time, Lina would have been played as a mid and will still go for some sort of right-click or maybe spellcasting hybrid, and she could still die to Axe. When you're playing the true hard carry Max Fiery Soul Maelstrom build, you have so high attack speed when you get called, you're just going to die, and Axe is going to amplify it even further with call out.
Yeah, they're going to bring 23 Savage as well, so this is a 4-man smoke. Oh, that's a nice call. Onto 2. The blink reveal is perfect. Both supports for BetBoom evaporate. GPK, I mean, Makoto still has plenty of mana to pursue. Rolling Thunder will be canceled. There's the RP to follow. Miero, he's going to get caught off guard. He's going to get destroyed as well. They're going to clean up the tombstone on top of killing off GPK and Miero, and suddenly Talon, with a massive advantage, died to the zombies.
He was tanking the tower the whole time. He had all his spells. I think it was just unaware of what was going on. It was funny. But still, this is a great win for the side of Talon. They're going to transition it into mid-tier 1. And yeah, just as much as they were beat down in game number 1, they're looking to bring it back the other way onto BetBoom. GPK, looking at Cuckoo here. It's full HP. How does he die? Let's count tower shots. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8.
That is
Okay.
very impressive.
He took 8 tower shots and a tombstone and cast no spells to save himself.
That's crazy.
I mean, sometimes you tunnel vision. He was really focused on the fight. A funny death, but fortunately for him, completely inconsequential.
Well,
But we appreciate...
It wasn't inconsequential to us. It was entertaining.
Yeah, we appreciate the good laugh, but for the sake of the game, I don't think it makes much of a difference here.
6K lead for Talon, so... I mean, I feel like we're kind of beating a dead horse talking about this game 1 woes for Talon, but it keeps happening.
Yeah.
And then game 2, they tend to destroy.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't think I've seen anything like this to this level before.
The thing that seems consistent for them is that they're really good at game 2,
Yeah.
right? The
Well,
game 1, they
game
broke a
3
curse
has
yesterday.
Game 3 has always been competitive as well.
Right, but game 2's, hasn't it been game 2 they crushed every
Yeah,
time?
game 2 is every...
Game 1 they lost most of the time. Game 2 they crushed every time, and game 3 was competitive most of the time.
Yeah.
A very interesting team dynamic. You don't want to play this team in 2-game series and group stages because you're never getting better than a draw.
Yeah, that's true.
Here he comes,
Big step.
Mikoto.
Yeah, they're gonna have to focus on save. Avalanche there, 23 Savage, and gets himself the kill. GPK does use the Rolling Thunder. Not gonna be any follow-up here, so will TP out, but the call actually cancels it, and GPK with the shield crash will be surrounded. Swashbuckle there, but he is dead. What a play from W. That is really hard to do, by the way. They will eventually chop him to the ground.
You took
Very
the words
impressive.
out of my mouth. I was basically going to say that's a lot harder than it looks because you need to blink close enough that you call, but you need to also outrange the stun from the roll. So the range that the precision you need to hit this with is probably like 100.
Oh, Laguna was dodged by Makoto. Oh my goodness.
And the LSA
Talon are
missed.
just all over them. This is just outplaying them so hard.
Makoto didn't even take damage.
Why can't you do any of this in game 1? Any of it?
It dodged Laguna, the LSA missed, and Makoto ends that kill. He had a regen rune as well, to be fair, so he was going to be fine either way, but style point
Jokum.
for Makoto.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So crazy. Well, Electric Vortex onto the Naga. There's
Nice
the call from
call
WS
again.
onto 2. Chop and chop for WS. Has the Blade Mail. 9K lead for Talon.
Real recognized, real a tip from Miero there. Miero loves a good axe performance.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of deodorant.
I mean, he's top net worth on his team. For the Undying, that is.
Yeah. That's Katomi. Oh, he is.
Yep, that's the face palm.
He has been happier. Not the best game here for
GPK has
BetBoom.
used Swashbuckle. Avalanche is going to find him into the toss, into the RP, an eventual kill for 23.
This game is just coming crashing down. This is becoming a stomp. We said that Talon would be happy to be even-ish at this point. Now that they're crushing, the scaling potential of the lineups, the way they interact when you go down the stretch.
Makoto feeling himself now.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't he? Everything is working for the side of Talon. He still has the haste rune to work with.
Double digits now, 10K. Makoto continuing
Nice
on. Yeah, Miero, he's going to pop the Fletch Golem. He gets put on the cliff now by Jokum.
Tower is under attack.
Oh, and the Electric Vortex to keep him there. Oh my God. I want to die. Oh, is there any way for them to get him down? There's no forces yet, right?
Rubik
Surely.
doesn't have shard.
Oh my goodness.
He sent out a courier with what? He's
no-
trying to branch himself down. He's going to use 4 branches.
Oh, okay. That's not
Nice.
too bad then.
Nice play
Yeah.
to get down.
Play of the day for BetBoom.
I think he did it with 3 of them. Maybe he needed all 4. I'm not sure. Just, yeah, make sure you buy enough when you try this at home. If you send out 1 too few and you have to send the courier back when it arrives again, your first branches will be gone. The trees you've planted, so.
Talon styling on BetBoom here in game number 2. I'm going to
This-
group up for that tier 2 bot.
The speed with which Miero did that made it look like he's been there before.
Yep.
He instantly sent out the courier, and when he got the trees, like, yep, Dung, 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 dung right there.
Very impressive.
He's definitely had this experience. Maybe exactly on Undying as well. Wouldn't even surprise me. This hero notoriously rather slow and would be more likely to get clipped than many of the other heroes Miro plays.
Again, 23 Savage. If he finds him, he'll kill him.
Soloing. Yeah.
Now he can definitely apply pressure to that tier 2 bot if he wants. As Makoto going to be pushing out the top. And how long until they can do Roche? It's not the greatest Roche team. Watching the dodge on the Laguna here.
And then the LSA misses because he doesn't jump.
Incredible.
Showered with tips
From
his teammates Makoto.
Cuckoo looks to be going for the blink before that Ghost Scepter in his quick buy, as Talon will be taking out the Tormy. As Jokum will get it.
Okay, so that's the upgraded skewer. Not really too important
this
here.
is interesting, though. Into the pit, BetBoom goes.
If they get countered here, they might honestly call it.
Yep.
This feels already like a bit of a Hail Mary, and they're already giving up on it. But they're going to turn it into a smoke fight.
Yeah,
looking for maybe a Song setup. Song into Pango roll, I guess.
Yeah, we haven't really seen Song at all as WS.
He's going to break the smoke ward.
He will.
Oh my god, it's
they
an
use
illusion.
telekinesis on an illusion. Miero with GPK's help, actually getting a stun lock onto the Storm Spear, but the False Promise already used. He's going to take a Laguna, so a lot of damage, and he's still stun locked here. Will be zipping away, but there's a huge RP and an even bigger skewer, but they've already lost 2, make it 3 for Talon. And WS, oh, they actually cancel his Blink Dagger. GPK gets the shield crash as well, and WS might be the 4th death.
Oh.
Gonna dodge the LSA, but as long as they can cancel this Blink Dagger. 23 Savage, though, he's coming in. Oh, the Song at just the right time to disrupt the combo from 23.
Maybe he can blink out here?
Oh, yeah, they mistimed that a bit. So the blink out from WS actually might want to come back in as 23 Savage focusing on Miero. That's a pretty tanky target, though. Gets the Avalanche now as a TP coming from Cuckoo, who's now respawned. Miero, getting some stuff dispelled now.
Oh, he crimsoned before he got purged. That might actually cost him.
Yeah, he's going to get tossed and
probably
destroyed.
Dead anyway, to be fair, but most definitely. But he's back alive. Nothing happened.
Oh, that's right.
That was a great fight for BetBoom, and I think the biggest story of that entire fight was WS's choice to solo call the Rubik off on the right. He spent his entire fight fighting the Rubik and eventually killing him off. But I think the axe is too valuable to have in the center of the fight for him to go on these little side missions. If you want someone to deal with the Rubik, expend a Storm on it, use your Tiny as the opener on that guy. I think X has to look for bigger targets. Now, fortunately for Talon, BetBoom in the end chased maybe a little bit too far looking for that additional kill on Axe. And end up getting punished for it. Of course, the Song of the Siren and Snare was on cooldown, so Kataomi couldn't combo them to prevent X from blinking out. And now we're back to the pit. It's the pivotal point of the game where both teams will continue to cover this area. All spells available in a moment for the side of Talon. 10 seconds on RP.
Savage, that's who they want. Opening from GPK, LSA, Laguna as well, but the False Promise comes out and a delete save to start the fight as Makoto, he's going to zip, trying to get Kiratas. He finds himself to the high ground. That's a buyback now onto save. As 23 Savage continue to whack away, but he is slow to a crawl, but Jokum, nice RP onto several heroes, and the cleave coming out from 23, the choppity chop from WS. And just like that, this is going to be a dieback for save. It's going to be a full team wipe for Talon.
Damn.
Ultra kill for the Axe. Beastly performance.
Was that 2 good calls and 1 big RP? It's just too easy for Talon at this point. Gonna see the replay here. So this is right after the call comes in, but he found the Lina plus Rubik, which is already a great call to begin with, but considering it's carry Lina, it's even better. The amount of damage that WS is able to output with that jump. 23 damage. And this RP, the fight is over immediately. Nothing you can do. And they also know this is a obviously this is a result of the way the lineups function. You can't run away as BetBoom. Like, you're never going to escape Storm plus 2 Blink Dagger cores. If you choose to disengage, your only escape is Song of the Siren. So if that's unavailable or has already been used, you're just not going to happen. Yeah. So they have to stand and fight, and they know they can't win that fight, but there's no alternative. Good reaction from GPK will probably keep him alive here. Koda's still being a little annoying.
Well, Roche is still up. It's actually going to be a much later Roche than would have expected with a lead like this. Of course, BetBoom putting up a pretty good fight after attempting the Roche, I suppose. Kind of delays the take for Talon, but they're still going to go down mid. Take this tier 2. Surely you get the Aegis now. I mean, I guess you do have to worry about Song still. Song, yeah. Tombstone, Rolling Thunder, they do have a good pit fighting squad on BetBoom.
I think as long as Cuckoo has good position, it's going to be difficult for BetBoom to kill more than one hero, even in a Dream opener. Cuckoo is going to save one. The Tiny is really tanky, so he can probably stay alive on his own through the initial opening of the fight, and then you just need to get your turnaround spells off and you should be fine. If you get any half-decent RP, any half-decent call, I think the fight plays itself. So BetBoom, the challenge here is almost impossible. And if they don't get the Aegis either, it's just... I'm assuming this one goes on the Tiny. How are you ever killing him twice with the Radiant lineup right now? 3,500 HP, 1,000,000 armor, Oracle behind. Dakota TPing in.
No contest.
I think you just go high ground.
Oh, for sure. They're going to get saved. Another benefit of taking Tormentor is that save could not have gotten Shard. We'll have to buy it. I think it's pretty... I mean, when you're down this much, it doesn't really matter that much, I suppose. But like we talked about earlier against the call, very good.
He now finally has a 27-minute Euls against Mag. Yeah, might be faster than this patch's fastest, but I don't think that Rubik went brown boots. There's very, very little to write home about for save this game. Obviously, you want this Eul against the Axe call, you want it against the Mag, Blink, RP, Skewer combos, but Axe already has BKB, so you're not stopping him anymore. And the Magnus, you've got to be really fast. If you don't have vision of him, he will get RP off before you Eul him. Kind of have to precast the telekinesis to stop it.
So 23, Solo takes the tier 3 mid, the range racks as well. Now a smoke from BetBoom.
Yeah, this is the all-in move. Well, it's a 3-man smoke, so I say that. Wait, what are they trying to do with this smoke, actually? I thought they were just going to go for a fight, but GPK is on a mission down bottom. Oh, he's going for the Wisdom Shrine so he can get level 18 for the base fight. Is that it? It looks like that's it. Wants to get that extra edge. It is a really big upgrade for Pango to hit 18.
Oh my god, the cleave on the building. Got the he almost died to that.
That was not enough to get GPK to level 18. He needs 2 more creeps.
All right, well, mid lane is given up. Now top lane. Got to defend at some point, BetBoom. Lose the tier 3 now. And Miaro does use his ult, and there's the Avalanche. He's actually going to toss the Undying into the fray. He gets skewered away on top of that. He gets put back on the same cliff as before. The TP will not be successful. He is chopped to the ground. 50 seconds as 23 Savage was in a 1 versus 4 and is surviving. Cuckoo forced the false promise himself as a double shot onto save. Kiritich gets taken out in the meantime as GG ends up being called. And Talon absolutely pummel BetBoom in game 2. And we're going the distance, as expected.
And yeah, stopped him in that last team fight without using Aegis and RP. Loser.
I was grouping us together for that, for your benefit, of course.
Yeah. And this would be really interesting for sure. I think this is the first carry mag of the tournament. We've seen very little DP in general, but especially off lane.
Yeah, we get to see Joe come on Tusk, which we've been raving about even in games where he's not picked it.
Plays a mean Tusk.
But then we see Miero, Omni Knight. Last game we did say, hey, the Undying, last time he played it, he took over. We've seen this hero take over, usually from the core role. So see if Miero can continue that.
So, in a way, ironically, I think this BetBoom team lineup, some of their worst games that I've seen for Kataomi has been on Silencer. We've cast some of the games where he's just become like a punching bag on that Silencer. I think that it's the X factor of the entire game is actually Silencer. So if he gets off to a decent start and doesn't get run over by this off lane of DP Tusk, which, to be fair, is very dangerous for Silencer, so you've got to be very careful.
Is it spring already?
I think Global Silence is the spell of this game. You look at how the Talon lineup functions. They have 2 saves between the Bane and the Tusk with Nightmare and Snowball.
Yep.
You've got the RP into Skewer combination. All of these ways of interacting with offensive and defensive moves from Talon get interrupted by Global Silence. So whether you're initiating with Kunkka into an X-Mark combo, you can global on top of it to make sure Tusk can't save the Magnus. If he's the one getting caught, he can't skewer out, etc., etc. There's plenty of combinations, and what I'm mainly looking for with the Silencer 5 is that other heroes can make moves so that you can use global offensively and you're not stuck just using it when you get jumped. And you have Windranger with the Shackle and you have Kunkka with X-Mark, but that's it. So it's not one of these super obvious games like Storm Silencer or Bat Silencer that we've seen other teams run this tournament.
Yeah, when's the last time we haven't seen Storm in the game?
It needs to be a little bit more clever from BetBoom to get value out of the global, but it is the spell that could potentially win them the game. And conversely, you look at it from Talon's side, if you can play around global well, I think your spells are just going to have really high impact inherently in this game. There's not a lot of other stuff that's going to prevent you from hitting RPs. There's not a lot of stuff that's stopping your DP from running over the other side. So very interesting game, to say the least.
He's only showing for himself right now, but yeah, BetBoom won't come close.
He'll recognize there must be an obs here, and he will get the D ward, so a little bit of a good head start.
You talked about the Silencer. Do want to give a shout out to Save on the Windrunner. That one game we were casting, that might be the best performing Windrunner support I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just insane value.
He had one particular base defense fight that was unreal. I'm trying to remember which game it was. I think it was 2 days ago, but Windrunner on save has been incredible. For sure. Now,
Kirita's trying to block the creeps, but they go under the tower.
That's
Talon
good enough
get what
for
they
Talon.
want.
Yep. Of course, this is going to make the wave push into DP, and if there's one thing Death Prophet side lane is good at, it's when the wave is on your side, so you get chase down potential with the Siphon. Wants the lane up there.
Yeah,
And
I mean, Death Prophet, it does feel like one of those heroes that can either be amazing or just fall completely flat, and I just have to wait and see how this one goes.
It's true. That's one concern here for the side of Talon is in many of their games that they've looked the absolute best, it's been WS in their face with like Axe or Timber.
Yeah.
Those have been heroes that he's really been shining on. Death Prophet, by nature, also runs at you, but it's
not the same.
It's not the same. It's less bursty. It's more of an equilibrium hero. And also, you wanted to avoid this Ursa matchup for Magnus so badly that you put it on carry, which of course is a bit of a pivot too. I don't think we've seen 23 play Mag at all this tournament. So maybe also a little bit of a worry, is he in shape with this hero? Is this something he has been playing in his pubs? Well, no. Based on that, might have been a couple years. That was not even close.
Do you think this is a good Mag game? Like, you have the global, you have Omni. I mean, obviously there's 3 melee cores, but I feel like Ursa doesn't care that much about...
I do not think this is a good Magnus game. Guardian Angel, Ursa with the Enrage against the RP as well. You've got Boat.
Yeah.
X-Mark is annoying for Mag. Global is annoying for Mag. It's genuinely really tough, so... That makes it even more interesting that you choose to upgrade it to position 1, right? If we think it's a tough matchup for the hero in general, that's pretty bold.
Yeah.
Good news for the side of Talon for now is Mikoto is doing a great job mid against GPK. We've seen this lane go both ways, but primarily in Kunkka's favor. These early waves of Mikoto just outplaying GPK
Yeah.
quite significantly, being 18 and 2 at 3 minutes. It's really good in this lane.
Yeah, they're going to need it. They're going to need the mid lane to pop off. If what you say is true about the Magnus being, on paper, not the best in this game.
Magnus is the type of hero where even if the game isn't the best for it, you can find moments. There are some heroes where when they have really bad matchups, it's hard to envision how they get a good teamfight impact out of it.
Yeah.
With Magnus, you can always find that dream RP when the enemy is pushing, when they're out of position, when they slip up.
You get the dream RP, but the only hero that really has a lot of burst after the fact is the Tiny.
And yourself.
Well, sure.
Carry Mag hits hard. It's very hard. But yeah, in a traditional sense, I know what you're saying, and you're right. It's like for Carry Magnus to truly kill with the RP, you need.
I mean, what kind of build did you want to see on 23?
I mean, depending on whether he wants to buy Blink or not, try to skewer again. Warming up. I think you go Harpoon at the very least. It looks like he's also queuing up Mask of Madness, but I think Harpoon treads optional Mask of Madness. Oh, there's the skewer.
There's the skewer. Mira's already done a lot of damage. 23 Savage. Cuckoo with the blood grenade now. The power shot coming now. 23 Savage has to be careful. The Hammer of Purity brings him out of the fight. It's going to be a trade. But now a lot of creeps being missed now to 23 Savage as well.
And Cuckoo is completely dry. He has no resources left in this Bane. The Healing Lotus is sitting on save along with a Clarity. So when these two cores return to lane, this lane is kind of a pseudo 2v1.
Blood grenades being thrown everywhere. Kiritich chasing down WS. Will be able to find him. A nice attempt on the tree.
Easy breezy.
Not good news for Talon, though. Kiritich right now
Not yours.
Yeah,
having pretty good lane.
If you're picking offlane DP to win this lane, I'm not sure if that was what they were intending, if they were very lane focused with the pick. But so far, so bad down here for DP. And now top. We're going to see here just how much value. So Cuckoo got a lot of experience. That was the good news there. He's level 4 on the Bane after getting the Omni Knight solo experience for the kill. He did send out a Clarity, so he has some resources, but yeah, you'd think on paper this is a lane that BetBoom should probably just win, courtesy of the upgraded Hammer of Purity. The non-stop harass onto Savage. You can only retain it for so long. That might be why he's queuing up the Mask of Madness as well. He feels like he needs the lifesteal to sustain this lane a bit better.
It's one of those heroes that you probably end up in going back and forth between the jungle anyway, I would assume.
Yeah. Magnus has to jungle to be impactful enough.
The eternal empowerment facet which we've been seeing most of the time for the cores, at least. I mean, actually, that's not true. We see the Shockwave one quite a bit as well.
But that was on the 4s, right?
Yeah, the supports.
I don't think we saw a single core mag not go Eternal Empowerment. It's just too valuable.
6-minute power rune. Well, save. We'll grab it. Cuckoo, good attempt.
Calm yourself.
And Mikoto against the GPK Kunkka. Kunkka's actually gone ahead a bit on CS. I'm not sure how many of those are in the neutrals.
He's ahead of net worth too.
So okay, so he's bounced back.
It's a minuscule amount though. All the cores in this game. I think this is the closest we've seen all 6 cores to each other in net worth in the majority of series in this tournament. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Pretty small distance between number 1 and 6.
Good news for everyone. See a nice competitive game 3. Nero, of course, working on a Radiance. This hero, what was changed to, like in the bigger patch? Do you remember, to bring him back into the scene? Because we forgot he was a hero that existed for a while.
When you say the bigger patch, you mean 739?
Yeah.
Hammer of Purity, 0 mana cost.
That's right.
0 mana cost, more attack range with here Hammer of Purity. And it got a slow. So slow, longer range, 0 mana cost. And then it immediately got nerfed in the B version, but it's still really strong.
Oh, Nightmare.
Into Skewer.
Skewer from 23 Savage. He's the one taking the damage, though. They get the power shot off of the Shackle. 23 Savage will live unless Save can get another power shot connection.
Double Lotus there.
Won't go for it.
Miro had the option to skill GA there and go for the dive, but he's holding the skill point. Now Kataomi will join, looking for a backstab onto Cuckoo, and he'll walk him to him now. He's taking some tower shots, though. This is a bit awkward for the Silencer.
Yep, gets the Arcane Curse off Miro. Actually not going to dive here. And Makoto makes his way over, so good decision from BetBoom not to pursue. 23 Savage had to walk all the way back to base.
Yeah.
His game, I wouldn't say it's complete garbage. Like, you can see the net worth is not that far away, but definitely not ideal still.
So if it's not garbage, would you say it's cabbage then?
Yeah, probably 23 cabbage for sure.
The tier list for him, the less good games are cabbage and the really bad ones are 23 garbage, is what I've heard.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
And of course, when he becomes a very famous actor, he will be releasing his own perfume called 23 Sauvage.
I'd wear that. If I wore cologne, of course. Not the case.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Much to the chagrin of you. BetBoom. Grouping
Yeah,
up.
it smells.
GPK. Oh, the X not in range. He gets the
Nice
torrent off, though,
torrent.
onto the Bane as Cuckoo will get the brain sap off, but this will be an eventual kill for BetBoom.
Dire's tower is under attack.
Miro takes it with a purification. 23 Savage. A little greedy.
Katomi's just going to leech here for now, but Torrent.
Yeah, and they're going to use Boat as well. They get the Shackle, and that is going to be the death of 23 Savage.
Dire's
His teammate died nearby, and he continued to farm. And now pays the ultimate price. They're going to lose a tier 1 as well. 23 Savage is so greedy just in general.
Yeah.
I mean, that was not even like a huge camp either. Not that valuable.
It's a rough start now. Now we're starting to see some actual separation.
Yeah.
Magnus now behind by 1,000 to the Ursa. Death Prophet behind by about 600 to Omni. And finally, Tiny Mid behind by 400 against the Kunkka. So every Radiant hero is ahead of their Dire counterpart right now, including the supports. It's not massive amounts, but it's starting to tell a story of a Talon that will need to find some good comeback fights. And it's not
It's off the back of
easy
this guy right here.
necessarily.
He has to be
yeah,
setting things up.
Mikoto is in a position in this game where he has more responsibility than he would like.
WS with the Exorcism. Going to get slowed. Now Kirita jumps in. That is a lot of damage. Jokum has the snowball, but where are you ending up? It's going to be on the neutral camps. Not that much distance as the Kunkka comes to play as well. WS with the Spirit Sniping doing quite a bit of work against GPK, but eventually will melt. Jokum able to get out, but again, that's a core dead. Although Makoto has made the transition over now. Still has that haste in the bottle. Avatos, so Kataomi will be
He
the
might
trade, but
trade.
Jokum is still really low. They do get the kill. Nice save. Is it going to be in time? Yes. Dodges the ship, but it's still going to be the death of the Tusk as Makoto gets a toss-up onto GPK, wants to finish the job. The Shackle's going to not be enough. Makoto closes the gap, and now a Fiend's Grip, draining all the mana of save, but Kiriti's just with a casual paw to the back of the head.
That's such a funny end situation. One of them is sleepwalking away, the other one is gripped, and no one can help. Cuckoo is just disabling 2 heroes for 5 seconds, but there's nothing left in the tank. That wasn't too bad, I gotta say, for Talon overall. I think that was a decent trade they got in total. But it did also showcase a potential issue that Death Prophet will face for quite a while in this game, which could debate whether the pick itself is even that good. When you think about how Death Prophet plays fights, it's a lot about equilibrium. You're like you're taking damage, but you're out healing it and staying alive on, you're like floating half health or whatever a lot of the time with Spirit Siphon. When the fights are long enough, eventually Ursa just eats. Like, he got so many Fury Swipe stacks onto WS that when the fight was about to really look interesting for Talon, he can't sustain it any longer. And that's hard to itemize your way out of it fully.
Yep, Nightmare at the GPK. There's a regen rune. He's actually going to end up grabbing Makoto with a nice Avatos. Not enough to find a kill yet, though. Now the Purification from Miro as Jokum getting run down. Power shot, kill shot, whatever the hell you want to call it.
And it might get
Takes
Cuckoo
out
too.
one. Cuckoo in the trees. Only has the brain sap to work with. Another pick-off for BetBoom. I mean, this is kind of what we've been seeing in both series to a degree, is one team comes out a little bit ahead on lanes, and then they keep getting these kills on supports, and they keep adding up over time, and then you have a lead that is actually pretty significant.
I think these
Talon need to do something to stem the bleeding.
These smaller scale fights for Talons are so hard without DP ulti, I think. I just don't see very much damage. You've got the tiny combo, and that's kind of it, right? Tusk and Bane are... They're not going to be your big output supports in terms of the damage department. And in contrast to, say, having 23 Savage on a Tiny. His Magnus, it's a lot different to show up to fights with this hero because the spells early on when you're playing carry mag are going to be low level because you're maxing in power.
Yeah.
So your relative amount of assistance you can offer compared to many of the other carries we've seen the players play is, it's like night and day, right? If there's a fight breaking out and Ursa joins it, you know something's going to go down. Whereas the mag right now, a little bit on the slower side. This is starting to become a pretty big lead now for the side of BetBoom. It's about 3,500 up. We're approaching the 14-minute wisdoms. Looks like
getting there.
BetBoom not interested in trying to contest. I actually think they were able to. They have global silence and they had multiple heroes bottom, but they're going to play it safe. Let Talon have their side of the map.
All right, this is where something for Talon, it feels like something has to happen. Even if it's just a support kill, something. You got the Blink Dagger and Makoto, joke him.
It
The
looks
smoke.
like they might have been anticipating BetBoom were roshing with Ursa Omni, and I don't blame them for that call, but obviously not the case here. The smoke. I'm going to try to find something else now that Ursa wasn't there, but BetBoom with a good read. That would have been such a good play call, actually, if the Rosh was being done, and that was a possibility for BetBoom.
He has a shield rune.
They can't kill this guy. Shield rune, blade mail, and global silence.
23 looking
Not
for
gonna
the
happen.
first RP of the game. Yeah, this is already just impossible, it feels like.
It's 14-minute Radiance.
Yeah.
Miero is going to farm up a storm here. And we saw the other day, Omni Knight late game is a monster from the offlane. You become another carry. You go Harpoon, you go Refresher, you go Dagger, and BKB, and you just blink into the enemy team with Repel on and say good luck. If they don't have a Purge for the Repel, of which there's very few in the game. The only two that come to mind are Demonic Purge and Doom. Neither of which, of course, in this game. You can Fiend's Grip him, which is nice. But you're not going to remove the Repel with that.
No.
Radiant are scanning.
And through the gate they go. Miero already exiting this area.
There's the
Talon.
Echo now.
They're going to group up now, but you can see BetBoom shadowing Miero as well.
If they open an Omni here, this is going to go really poorly. They'll just be able to instantly global and turn it around. You can see Talon are very timid.
Yeah,
seem to have the read. There's a lot of heroes missing. It's what you sometimes it's what you don't see on the map that can give it away. Like the creep wave mid was uncontested, 5 heroes missing. You have a little bit of a and kind of rule some plays out because of the wards you have in the bottom half of Talon here.
23.
Process of elimination.
Not save. There's the avalanche. Makoto with the toss back.
Nice,
Oh, nice X from GPK, and he actually
shit.
not blocked by the shards. As Talon will try to regroup.
Damn, that was a very fast reaction from GPK on that. Beautiful stuff.
And now the X on the WS. We'll see.
Not going to use the ghost ship though.
Yeah, they're not gonna. I mean, all the time in the world for Kiritich to farm away with that Battle Fury.
I feel like we almost never see this play of Xmark pulling back toss targets. We see it against other mobility stuff, but against toss it's generally really difficult.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you start with Avalanche, of course, there's going to be some reaction time for the Kunkka. I thought they were going to global. Just save there.
I mean, that Talon, that's the best case scenario is to try to bait out the global and then reset and then actually go for a fight. Or just kill a silencer right away and hope he doesn't have buyback. Only 3 kills, though, for Talon. Cat to Omi. I mean, right now, he only has 1 death. So much better performance than the last time we cast.
Yeah.
And it does feel like BetBoom are just dodging ganks consistently. And Talon have wasted a decent amount of time. They're going to group up bot at the moment.
And Kiritich should be able to stay ahead of Mag now that he got this fast Battle Fury. This is a matchup where Magnus can create some distance to the Ursa if the laning stage doesn't go too well for him. But as a matter of fact, for Kiritich, he's 4-0 and won his lane. Now he's going to get an Aegis. And continue his growth, looking for a Basher next rather than a BKB, maybe relying slightly on Repel from Yero, the Guardian Angel. An early Basher will allow him to destroy Death Prophet.
Yeah.
She has the Yules, but you have to be able to get it off in the opportune moment. And of course, if Ursa is repelled when he jumps in, you can't use it offensively. You can only delay on yourself. It's been a quiet game from WS. There's 1 assist. This guy has been
That is Death Prophet.
impressing people all over the world in this tournament, but
I wish
not the one.
I wish they had picked something else. This hero just does not feel like it to me.
I definitely think at this point they would agree with that sentiment. Like they just didn't get the value out of the Death Prophet, and it begs the question what they were anticipating would happen here if they were like, we'll take the L bottom so we get Magnus away from the lane. But if what you pick instead also doesn't win, then you could have kind of, with the plays that WS has been able to make on Magnus, you could have put him in a bad lane and he would have still come up big later, right? You would think so, that he would find opportunities.
Cuckoo. Shackle's not going to hit, but I mean, he's still going to die nonetheless. I mean, what is Death Prophet good against this game exactly? Ursa is a nullifier buyer. Omni, Guardian Angel just hard counters your ult.
Yeah, I don't really see it either. I don't think this pick is inherently obviously good. Time for a Hammer of Purity.
Continue to fall here.
No, he's just gonna die to Radiance.
If they keep running in the right direction.
1 second on Blink.
Oh, yeah, might.
Oh,
no, that was the Arcane Curse. Okay.
Well, there's some more brain drain, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, we've seen games like this from Talon where they get behind early and it snowballs out of control. 5K is not insurmountable. That's for sure. It's just,
I would just have a lot more confidence in them in this game state if the Magnus was on WS and 23 Savage was playing a more quote-unquote traditional carry. Not because he can't play Mag, because he very well can, but it's about what WS is going to do.
oh, Katomi, this would be a big kill. Avatos, he gets silenced.
GA.
He's actually staying alive. WS going to try to continue the pressure here. Pops the Exorcism. You have to use the Yules as Miero is going to get grip of the instant global and the instant death of WS. Now the TP from the Bane.
This is
he gets bashed.
bad.
And they're going to lose the Tiny as well. That is disastrous for Talon. And now this just got way harder. You can't even kill the Silencer. That's rough. And Kataomi holding on to the global for so long, too. Very disciplined.
It was perfect. He got it off the moment the global, the Fiend's Grip came out on the Omni. Obviously, the only thing that's going to stop Miero in his tracks right now is Fiend's Grip and RP when he's running with Repel. Now you're going to get this as well. So save getting the free Gale Force. They're even high rolling on this one. Absolutely want that over the Brain Drain upgrade.
Yeah.
Everything going right for BetBoom. 10,000 lead minute 20. And unfortunately, as it looks right now, for fans of close Dota, this has been a very one-sided series in the sense that every game has been one team just being better than the other. See if Talon can find a way to bring it back. But
Kiritich, he has the Aegis. They can burn it here. Not a whole big commitment from Talon.
They need to get
nice.
out. They need to get out.
Absolutely. As Miero jumps in, trying to focus down the Tusk. And they will.
Shackle and?
Oh, that Shackle. Do they have the Force Staff to try to keep some distance? Power Shot not really going to do too much. GPK can't get the X he wanted, but he'll find it on 23 Savage. Maybe a better target. Forces out the BKB. The Skewer hits absolutely nothing. As now he's just going to get bashed and destroyed shortly after. Does get the RP off, but really does nothing. And this is just getting worse for Talon. As the Bear coming for more. Get another support. As the Death Prophet stuck in a 1v3 will easily be dropping to the deck. And they're going to find the Makoto Tiny as well. And all of a sudden, in about 3 fights, this has gone from doable to close to insurmountable now in BetBoom's favor.
And this reminds me of my favorite song by the Bee Gees.
I started to cry.
Yeah, No. Is that a song by the Bee Gees?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to remember the name of the song I'm thinking of.
Maybe you would think of Tragedy before I started to cry.
I need to look this up now. Shit. That's a lyric in the song.
It was a good guess. Well,
I'm gonna look this up real quick. 1 second.
this is not looking hot for the
Oh, it's
side.
I started a joke.
Oh, that's not remotely the same thing. Although if the
well-
joke is bad enough.
The lyrics go, you start to cry as well, though. So
Oh, okay.
it wasn't that crazy. But.
All right, fair enough.
So what was the song that you were thinking?
Tragedy.
Oh, is that a song? Okay.
You don't know Tragedy?
No.
All right, well, I think it's maybe their most famous song ever. Or
I
second.
prefer I Started a Joke. Great
Yep,
song.
yep.
One of the best ever made.
Speaking of starting a joke, 2 more kills for BetBoom to hit the epic meme number.
Yep,
Or
true.
1 kill for Talon. So very likely. The only way we avoid
It's a 1-1,
a
yeah.
meme number is a 1-1 exchange in the next skirmish or team fight. And with how this has gone so far, statistically speaking, that is the least likely outcome. Well, the least likely is 2 kills in a row for Talon, let's be honest. But
Radiant are scanning.
down 20-3. Enormous disadvantage. And there's only one way back into this game, and
they're
that's fighting.
scanned as well. They know this
have
is coming.
to fight. There's nothing else you can do. You have to find a moment of opportunity. You have to surprise BetBoom, find an angle, get a skewer, get a tossback, whatever it is. Because the more organized the fights are, the harder it'll be for your lineup to
Miero.
function. This could be something.
Yeah, Avatos.
He gets
Grip. There's the global.
I don't know.
They do trade that as Miero repels himself and it's just going to TP out.
That'll be
But the RP doesn't.
Yeah.
They're able to cancel. They use a lot, but I mean,
GA.
we get the 420 meme at least.
Nice. All right, there it is.
A lot used to kill Miero, but that's what it takes at this stage of the game.
And didn't have any teammates reinforcing him, so insta-TPing out after the Fiend script started would definitely have been the play. But he looked like he wanted to fight. He's like, oh, I'm getting a global. I can fight back.
Yeah.
But no one near to help, so he's dead in the water, TPing out too late.
There's
But he
no
forced the
Tide Hunter in
RP.
this game.
Okay. Forcing out RP is not too bad, though, I suppose. Gives BetBoom a little moment of opportunity. There's not many objectives to claim, though. Roshan is still not respawned. They've already killed the Tormentor. Now the BKB Heritage. How are they going to stop this Ursa? If he just pops all his stuff and goes in, I genuinely think he's immortal. For the entirety of his BKB, there's no physical damage with the exception of a little bit of exorcism damage and a Magnus that has some growth to go through. And of course, you can pretty much rely on getting a GA if you're in deep as Ursa. He's just going to blink GA you, and you'll be just fine. So the name of the game for Talon has to be displacement. You're going to need these tossbacks. You're going to need the skewerbacks. You need to break the fight up so BetBoom lose formation. Because once again, if things are structured and coordinated, it's hard to imagine a type of fight that Talon can win that does not involve getting heroes out of position.
Dire are scanning.
5-man gate from BetBoom. As Roche could spawn in 3 seconds, which Karatic would be very happy about.
With this early nullifier as well on GPK, he's going to be able to counter Death Prophet's Force Staff and Yules, the Tiny Yules. The Harpoon of Savage will still be useful at the very least, but...
Karatic. He's going to get nightmared. They're going to wait it out, and Cuckoo will die shortly after. Meanwhile, WS feels like every little engagement, BetBoom just get the better of it.
Yeah, if you...
Showing off that nullifier there, like you said.
If Talon's heroes split up and get caught, it's just not playable.
Attack.
They need numbers, they need vision, and they need to get a displacement. It's easier said than done, but I can't really think of any other way to solve this problem. You're not going to win by playing keep away. There's no big item timing that's going to totally change the course of this game. It's all going to come from 23 and Mikoto. And that's an awful spot to be in for Jokumon, arguably his best hero of the tournament on Tusk. We're used to seeing this guy making moves and being clutch, and he just has to wait.
I don't know if it was at this level. I think we saw one game, I don't know if it was Talon though, where one game with a big comeback.
Under attack.
Where the score, remember, yeah, we were casting that one where it felt like the game was over for 30 minutes, and then the other team came back. Who was that?
That game state was definitely more salvageable than this one, though. That's, again, not to say they can't come back, because they can. But I think it's just to be fair. This is a very low probability game, and you need some heroics. Let's see. Smoke up. Talon once again making sure to bring the numbers, but all spells are online for both teams. Global Silence, the spell to look out for here. Kataomi, can they find a way to get around the silencer problem so their Bane gets to play Dota?
Yeah, a bit of a later spawn for Roche, but you can see Talon obviously want to contest.
Kuko's going to show himself destroying the sentry, and that is an immediate notice for BetBoom of what's going on. So we have a standoff here. Roche will spawn in, give or take 20 seconds. Jokum getting impatient. And he's going to leave.
Oh. They don't have vision here. They will likely deward these pretty shortly as BetBoom now take the smoke.
This is a really good rune for Kiritich as long as he doesn't get Yuled off of it. Having the shield rune for the additional 1,100 barrier.
Yeah, why not?
Going into this fight, if he just opens it with BKB, he will survive everything without any question. Talon, they know Roche is up, but...
Yeah, it might be the death of a support again here to tank a gank.
Kuko's good position.
Wrapping around.
It's a deep wrap. This could work really well because Kuko didn't spot them.
Makoto, he blinks. 23 Savage is spotted though. He gets off the RP onto 2, but the Enrage already there. He's going to get eaten up. The nice snowball to save him for the time being. 23 Savage continue to be pursued by Miero. Company gets X back into death. That's 2 dead already. No buyback for 23 as WS attempting the TP, but the burst is too much from BetBoom. They get a third member as Makoto. Well, he gets a nice Avatos on the save. Oh, he's not even going to be able to get this potentially. Save finds the distance, and now GPK going to set up the Torrent, although gets the blink off. And the Gale Force making it very annoying for the big bad Tiny. Gets off the BKB, wants to find some kill on the save, but the GA comes out. And Makoto, the X will bring him back after the BKB. 4 dead for nothing. And BetBoom can get a free Aegis, as well as Roshan's banner. And Talon just put in a deeper and deeper hole.
It is so difficult for them. They find a 2-man RP and they just can't use it for anything. They just have, they're still going to have to bother with Global. They're going to have to bother with GA. Really feels like, I mean, when you see this game play out, it feels like a kind of a genius draft from BetBoom in this game. The way each of their heroes clearly counteract a key part of the enemy's draft. Everything Tusk and Bane want to do difficult to do against Silencer. Everything Magnus and DP want to do difficult to do against Omni. On top of that, they had very functioning lanes. They have some of their individual best heroes. Talon, we're trying to be creative here with the carry mag offlane DP. Definitely has not worked whatsoever. Oh my god,
the shackle, the follow.
Oh,
the toss.
boy.
Trying to save 23 Savage, gets off the BKB, but Kiritich, he wants the kill and he'll find it. 70 seconds of no 23 Savage as Kiritich continue on his rampage here. Gets a second hero as Makoto is controlled, taken out by Miero. And again, 4 for nothing. GG's come out. BetBoom completely dominate game number 3. Which means BetBoom are going to be in the grand finals to have a rematch against Paravision.
You got